Welcome to the new year. It's 2021. And us here at Blue Lotus have a little video to help you guys ring in the new year with a roundhouse kick. Now, I've been watching a lot of movies from the Hong Kong cinema house, and I just wanted to let you guys know what the best kung fu movies that you can stream are for the year 2021. So
yeah, start us off. What are some of the kung fu movies you've been streaming?
When I think of a kung fu movie, at least of the modern classics, the first ones that come to mind are everything in the Ip Man series. I think those are a really solid choice to watch right now. I can't think of a better kung fu movie. It's not a trilogy. It's like a quadrilogy now because there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
And it's a great time to jump in because they just released Ip Man 4. Just before the new year, I think. And it's pretty good. It's really solid choice to just start
On Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix right now. So yeah, start at 1 because you get like a lot of good like background on Ip Man. And then you kind of make your way through all the movies and it's like all of his personal stories. Not that any of them are really true. Like they definitely aggrandize his life and they're like pretty much all fictional stories. Even though he's a real guy.
1 and 2 are awesome. Like I enjoy 1 and 2 a lot.
2 is probably my favorite in the series, but 1 and 2, yes, are the best out of all of them.
Yeah, 3 was entertaining, but I feel it was a lot, I think, slower compared to the other 2.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know, Mike Tyson's in that one, right? Or who is it? Yeah, Mike Tyson. They kind of just shoehorned him in there, and I didn't really like that final fight with him. But I do think that the third Ip Man movie is a really important watch because they introduce the character Master Z, who has his own movie in the universe. It's just called Master Z Ip Man Legacy, which I'm counting as one of the ones that's in the entire Ip Man series. And I think it's a must. I think if you like the Ip Man movies, you're going to like Master Z.
Yeah, it has some great action scenes.
It has maybe more action than the other Ip Man movies because it's not as grounded. I think because, I don't know if he's like a real person or not, but they definitely take more liberties with his story and make it more of an action movie than kind of like an Ip Man movie. Because I would argue that the Ip Man movies are more like, the meaning behind those is like, you're the spirit of character and like finding the strength to overcome all odds. Whereas like Master Z is more of like a crime kung fu movie that's super fun.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I think.
But I like the arc for the character in Master Z as well.
Yeah, he was kind of like an anti-hero to begin with, and then he kind of makes his way into becoming like an actual hero in that film, which is really cool. But yeah, and Donnie Yen is like solid in all the Ip Man movies too. Like, I mean, he's a star now, and it's really cool to see. I don't know, Hong Kong cinema and like kung fu movies still have the spotlight after all this time, you know.
Yeah, I'm actually like pretty glad when you told me that you've been like on this binge of kung fu movies. I mean, they don't have to be all kung fu, like they can be like martial arts in general. But there's a certain style to those types of movies, and I personally really enjoy the old Jackie Chan ones. I know a lot of them aren't like on streams or whatever, but in high school I would like binge those like crazy.
You'd be surprised. Amazon Prime has a huge library. And like, I bet if I Googled it right now, there'd probably be like some old stuff. But I mean, yeah, I watched all the old Jackie Chan movies too. I have like Super Cop on VHS. I have like No More Mr. Nice
police
Guy.
Stories.
Yeah, all the police stories, the new police stories. And I also have Rush Hour on VHS. And that counts.
Nice.
That counts as a kung fu movie.
Yeah.
What else do I have? I think I have Drunken Master on VHS. I love that one. Drunken Boxing's really fun to watch. It's silly. I know it's like kind of more of a performative kung fu, but when I see it in movies, it's fun to watch.
And then you mentioned Kung Fu Hustle and Shaolin Soccer. Those two are some of my favorite movies like ever.
Those are in the number 2 slot for me too, actually, for like all the kung fu movies you guys should be streaming right now in 2021. I think after you finish the Ip Man movies, that's a very solid choice to like entertain yourself. You can go kind of on the lighter side and watch these Stephen Chow movies. So yeah, Kung Fu Hustle, a classic.
I love his movies. Like,
Yeah, I think Stephen Chow movies are a little different from Donnie Yen movies because, like, all the movies I see with Donnie Yen, he's a badass. No one can touch him. He really can't fail. Whereas, like, in Stephen Chow movies, when he's the main character, he's, like, more of, like, always a guy down on his luck. Like, kind of an underdog story that, like, builds his way up to, like kung fu master status, which I like. Yeah.
There's a lot of movies where it's mostly just humor and there's always action and humor. Like he does action comedy similar to Jackie Chan, but I feel like his style is leaned towards humor way more.
The balance, yeah, he's a master of comedy. I think the balance of like action and like kung fu style he does it really well. You know, I don't know if you would, a lot of people don't consider like Kung Fu Hustle and like Shaolin Soccer kung fu movies, but they're more like love letters to kung fu movies because you can tell he loves kung fu movies and he puts that love like in the films, which is cool.
Yeah. But you're saying how like you used to like Kung Fu Hustle a lot more than Shaolin Soccer. I originally always loved Shaolin Soccer more.
Yeah, I think it's just because I watched Kung Fu Hustle more. So I was sleeping on Shaolin Soccer, and I just rewatched it the other day. And dude, like me and my roommate watched it, and we were just like dying. We were just like, "This is so silly! Like, why is this so funny?" It was just, I don't know. It's a really good movie to just uplift the spirits. I think we all kind of need that in these times right now. But yeah, check it out. Watch it sub, not dubbed, because it's good to just get like the entire like way they meant it to come across in the script and just read the subtitles because it's I don't know.
Me and my cousins rewatched that movie we used to rewatch that movie all the time, like every year or so.
What, Shaolin Soccer?
Shaolin Soccer?
Yeah, Shaolin Soccer.
Okay.
It's mainly because I put it on or like my cousin puts it on. Sometimes Rush Hour as well, but
okay.
Yeah.
Dude, Chuku, check it out. It's so ridiculous. I love it. But you've seen it, right? Probably a long time ago.
What, Shaolin Soccer?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. That's actually because my parents, they strictly made me play soccer. So Shaolin Soccer was something that always appealed to me.
Interesting.
Those have reached like modern classic cult status at this point because a lot of people have watched those movies.
I will say like maybe it's the DVD or I don't know how subtitles work in general. Like, is there one standardized subtitle? But the one that I have on the DVD that I have, the subtitles aren't always accurate to what they're saying. I've noticed that for a lot of Cantonese movies because I can understand and speak Cantonese.
Okay.
Oh, those movies are Cantonese, not Mandarin?
They're Cantonese. Shaolin Soccer is Cantonese.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense.
A lot of the Hong Kong cinema movies are Cantonese, including the Jackie Chan movies.
Okay, sorry, that makes sense because that's the more popular language, right?
In Hong Kong, yeah.
Okay. Well,
where are they streaming these? I'm curious.
So, Shaolin Soccer is on Amazon Prime. Okay. And Kung Fu Hustle is on Netflix. It's been on Netflix for a long, long time. I don't think they're gonna take it off because it's too good. But yeah, I think there's always gonna be the problem of maybe things not translating correctly across sub or dub. But if I had to choose, I think the sub is more accurate than the dub. And sometimes the dubs have always been silly, I think, like even in the older 70s movies, but especially the modern ones, it's like annoying because like the voices are a little like I don't know, they're just like not that great.
But in my opinion, for Shaolin Soccer, the dub is not bad.
Really?
Yeah, in my opinion, it's not bad. I think it's still pretty funny, but
I think I actually haven't seen that one dub, but I've seen Kung Fu Hustle dubbed and I didn't like it.
Yeah, definitely for like the native language of Cantonese, to me it's like the most hilarious because like I can understand it without subtitles.
There's always those little nuances and sayings too that like maybe like Westerners would just not understand, and I wish I knew like what those meant, but I still think it's super funny as someone who doesn't know a word of Cantonese.
You don't have to, you definitely don't have to have it. It's just there are like lines where the sub isn't like completely accurate, and it would be funnier if you knew the language.
Which is crazy because I watched the sub and I thought it was like one of the most hilarious films of all time already. Yeah. So that makes me feel like, damn, what am I missing out on? But still love those movies. They have my heart. But yeah, that's what you should watch after watching all the Ip Man movies. And then
I gotta mention this because since I mentioned it about Shaolin Soccer, for Rush Hour 2, there are scenes where Chris Tucker tries to speak Cantonese, but basically when Jackie translates it for him in the movie script, he actually does not translate what he said at all. Like he's making stuff up. So basically Chris Tucker said something in Cantonese, and then Jackie just said, okay, you just said this, but that's not true at all. Like if you actually understood Cantonese, you would know what he said. And it's funny how they did that in the script.
Is it kind of an in-joke for Cantonese speaking people?
I suppose so. But
Lucky.
Damn.
I wish I knew. Well, if you guys want to stream Rush Hour, that's on Amazon Prime also.
Yeah, I can tell you guys which lines later.
Please.
Yeah, break it down for us.
Have a breakdown. This is what really you're saying.
Yeah. And then if you guys out there are like my mom and you're more into like the 70s classics and all those movies, the 36th Chamber of Shaolin is on Netflix, starring Gordon Liu. I feel like that's kind of in the kung fu movie like fan community lauded as like one of the ultimate classics. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gordon Liu, but in Kill Bill Volume 2, he's actually Pai Mei, right? Or he's the person that trained the bride, basically, in all those scenes. You remember where she was like climbing up the mountain every day, eating rice, like fighting with the wooden dummy. Gordon Liu was that like master trainer guy with the white beard, which is a cool nod to all kung fu movie fans. So yeah, I mean,
I'll definitely check that one out. What is it called again?
The 36th Chamber of Shaolin.
Gotcha. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that one's an older classic for sure. I mean, if you guys are like a fan of like the Americanized kind of like Bruce Lee movies, it'd be cool to kind of like go back, see the roots of like Hong Kong cinema and watch 36th Chamber of Shaolin.
36th Chamber of Shaolin.
Yeah, pretty good. I think The Raid counts as a kung fu movie, right? I mean, it's martial arts.
Yes, The Raid. Although
The Raid is Indonesian, correct?
Yeah.
Still, I mean, that has to be mentioned right now because that's like, don't people consider it like the best action movie of all time?
One of them.
Yeah, some people.
Next to Raid 2, you mean?
Yeah, definitely.
It is amazing action choreography. Like honestly.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to rewatch that soon because those movies are too quick, and I feel like the first time I watched it, I didn't like fully absorb all the action, but like I definitely need to.
Yeah, is that on Amazon Prime as well, or?
Let me look it up for you guys.
Yeah.
I think that. Oh wait, no, The Raid is not streaming anywhere. I would just watch it bootlegged.
Yeah,
but The Raid Redemption is that Raid 2? The Raid Redemption?
Yeah.
Raid 2, also a good film, is on Amazon Prime Video.
Interesting.
So, Amazon Prime has a huge library. I keep saying this, but like their stuff does cost money to watch. Like even if you have Amazon Prime, I find myself paying like $3 or $4 every time I want to watch a movie, and it's like I just do it because I'm like, oh, that's not that much. They're wringing me dry, you guys. But I love movies, so I'm gonna keep doing it. I have to say another good kung fu movie you guys can watch that's like a classic. This I just thought of right now because this is another really good one. But I don't know if you guys have seen Ong Bak Thai Warrior. That one's really good. I've
heard of it, but I've never seen it before.
Ong Bak Muay Thai Warrior, sorry. But that one's really great. It has a good story. And that one is streaming, surprise, surprise, also on Amazon Prime Video.
Amazon, I swear.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys have a couple bucks lying around and want to watch good action, I think just like search Kung Fu on Amazon Prime and you'll probably find some really good selections. But yeah, those are all the classics I can think of. Yeah,
I suppose just to clarify, we're using Kung Fu in a more catch-all term right now for martial arts, but because Muay Thai is Muay Thai.
I know, Muay Thai is Muay Thai. In The Raid, I don't even know what they're using. Those are Indonesian movies. But I mean, the first couple of selections, those are all Kung Fu movies, so.
Yeah.
And then honorable mention, I guess recently I watched Shaolin. I think it was made in 2011, featuring like Jackie Chan. I think it's like Wu Jing and like, I hope I'm getting their names right, but like a bunch of like really solid kung fu movie actors are in that film, and it has a really nice story. So yeah, I would check that out. Also Amazon Prime.
Gotcha.
Damn. But yeah, can you guys think of any other ones? Maybe we can find out if they're streaming or not.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I really like like you said, Stephen Chow movies and Jackie Chan movies. Like, if you guys can find Police Story, I think all of them are good. New Police Story, I like that one as well.
Isn't Donnie Yen in the new Police Stories?
There's like so many police stories.
Really?
It's hard to keep track of. Yeah, there's
I didn't
a
even
lot.
know that. No. Well,
So I think the one that I'm talking about is literally called New Police Story, I think.
Literally, it's
Police
called
Story?
New Police Story.
I swear to God, Donnie Yen is also in a new Police Story.
Yeah. They just make him a police story.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, they're both great. Jackie Chan, of course, is like, I mean, no one can touch him. He's the greatest.
I wish I remembered all the titles. I sort of just like watched whatever I could find back then in high school. But there's like so many great movies from them. Project A, I like that one. That one's like a really old one, but
Project A, I'll have to check it out. We haven't mentioned Jet Li, who I think we have to because he's also a huge classic.
Yeah.
I looked it up. Hero, which is like one of the ones that comes like straight to mind when I think of Jet Li. Hero is streaming on Hulu and HBO Max. So shit, I know what I'm gonna do tonight now. Watch Hero. Yeah,
I've never seen that actually.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta! It's epic. It's a timepiece, and I think timepiece kung fu movies are really great because I don't know. I'm really interested in like historical culture and all that, and the costumes I just think are way more grand when you're like watching a timepiece film. So I recommend that. Like I said, it's on Hulu and HBO Max.
Yeah, I never went on a Jet Li phase before. I think mainly because his movies are like Mandarin versus versus Jackie Chan and Stephen Chow, where it's Cantonese. So.
See, I didn't know that about these films, so it's cool that we're kind of talking about it now because I would like to be able to differentiate that. You know?
Yeah.
And I think,
but yeah, that's like a solid recommendation list right there. I'm definitely a huge fan of martial arts movie in general. So.
Yeah, and it's like these like martial arts dudes are like 50 years old and they're like more buff than me. So I'm like, I don't know. I should have started kung fu at a young age and kept it up because these guys look great.
You can get into it now. If they're 50, you're still younger.
I just might, honestly. I might, if I go away for like years and years, just know I'll probably be at a Shaolin temple, living the simple life and practicing kung fu every day. So.